Did you know that 55% of people feel overworked and underpaid, and nearly half of them are living paycheck to paycheck? But the worst part is 62% of people hate their job, but they're just too scared to leave and start their own business. I've been putting together a bunch of videos to help you find the easiest, fastest, and most profitable business to start so you can stop being scared, start making what you're worth, and probably take away some of those excuses that you're using to keep you where you're at. And a lot of these businesses require little to no upfront skill. They cost less than $1,000 to start in most cases. And the best part, you can be your own boss. Comments what business they want to start or what business they already have started. And if you stay until the end, I'm going to share a great business anyone can start with almost no money, no experience, and no equipment that can potentially make you $10,000 to $15,000 a month pretty fast. So before we get started with business number one, if you're going to run any service business, then there are three things that you're going to need. First off, if you're in business, protecting yourself with business insurance is absolutely essential. And it's easy to think that nothing bad is ever going to happen to you. But the truth is, accidents happen, property damage, lawsuits, all of this stuff can and does occur on a daily basis. So without insurance, your business and even your personal assets could be gone forever. So I put a link below for a free quote from the company that I use. Now, this is going to be a legitimate business. This is not a side hustle. So run it like one, right? Know your numbers. You got to keep track of your customers. You got to send professional estimates, invoices, and get paid fast. And QuoteIQ is a free CRM that does all of this for you. And we all know how important Google reviews are. And we have got the free review multiplier in QuoteIQ, which increases your reviews by 68%. Now, the last one is probably the most important, and that is getting customers. No customers means no business. And a great way to advertise your business is with direct mail and video ads. So you can take a look at QIQads.com, completely custom videos for over 20 service businesses delivered in under 5 minutes, and get 40% off all video ads right now. There's a link down there below. And if you want to target with precision the people with the most money, do what I do and send direct mail. Postcard Mania is the company that I use. There is a link for them down below too. And as always, we're trying to give back so you can get 1,000 free postcards with your first order. And then the last thing is to make sure you get your business registered and get whatever licensing you need for what you're doing and where you're at. So let's get into business number one, which is trash bin cleaning. And it might not sound glamorous, and it's not, but think about it. No one likes dealing with those stinky, nasty trash bins. And I know I used to tell myself that after the trash man comes and empties out the bins, then I'm going to go out there, I'm going to wash them down, but it never happens until you find a trash bin cleaning company to do it for you on a regular basis. And that's one of the main reasons that I love this business. It's high value, it's low competition, and most homeowners are willing to pay to keep their trash cans clean and odor-free. Best part, it's recurring income. And most customers, they usually sign up for monthly or quarterly cleanings, meaning you only have to sell them once. That's going to save you time, that's going to save you money. And if you do a good job, you make it easy for them to do business with you, they're going to keep coming back. Now, my friend's little brother, Matt, he started a bin cleaning business about a year ago. He started with a really cheap, really simple setup. He was only marketing for free on local Facebook groups, and now he has 2 employees and generates just over $17,000 a month. And with the right setup, you're able to move quickly, you're able to move efficiently, and you can easily charge between $15 to $25 per bin. Of course, prices vary on your market, but you can see why this is a great business to consider, especially since startup costs can be really, really low. All you need for a bare bones setup is a pressure washer, a water tank, some cleaning solution, which is going to set you back anywhere from $800 to maybe $1,500 just to get rolling. And of course, as you grow, your equipment can too. And there are some crazy setups out there, but we are keeping this simple for easy startups, which takes us to the next one. And number 2 does take a little bit more skill, a little bit more knowledge, but you can still start small and build from there, both your business and your skill level. But we all know that people are busier than ever, right? And they just don't want to deal with the hassle of dropping their car off at the shop when something isn't right. It's a pain, and then you get stuck there at the shop, or you have to Uber home, or you have to find somebody to pick you up, and then the same thing when the work is all done. And that's where mobile mechanics can come in. You travel to the customer at their house, at their place of business, you do your job, you fix whatever needs to be fixed, and you charge a premium for the convenience that you're providing. I've used a local service a few times for some minor things, but it made it so much easier. A little bit more expensive, yes, and that is a perfect example. My neighbor in their Mercedes needs to get their brakes done. They need to call a mobile mechanic. Anyway, you travel to the customer, you fix their car in their driveway, and you charge a premium for the convenience. I've used a local service a few times for some minor things, but it made it really easy. A little bit more expensive, but at the end of the day, I think it was way worth it. And that is why you want to target people who value their time more than their money. The guy that I used just moved down to Savannah from Baltimore. He couldn't find anybody somebody to work on his vintage Mercedes, and he decided to fill the void himself, and he started a concierge mobile auto repair. And he had a basic knowledge of things, but started with just basic tools and a truck, and now he makes six figures by focusing on simple maintenance jobs like oil changes and brake jobs, but he outsources the other bigger jobs to local shops, but he offers a concierge service to make it super easy for his clients. He is the middleman. He's arranging everything. He takes and picks up the car. It's absolutely great, keeps him happy, and he gets a cut. Potential earnings on this, like you're charging between $75 to $150 per job, and then if you can just do 3 jobs a day, that's an easy $9 to $13K a month. Now, startup cost, again, basic tools, a diagnostic scanner, and of course, you got to get your name out there, so you got to have some marketing. So around $1,500 to $2,000 just to get up and running. And that is actually a pretty cheap investment when you could be potentially making 6 figures in a year or so with the right marketing, sales ability, and of course, hard work. But we are seeing a theme here, doing stuff for people where they are at, right? Bin cleaning, mobile mechanic, and now something I know quite a bit about, and that is a mobile pet groomer. And like most people, I love my pets, and like most people, I'm willing to spend big to keep them looking great without having to deal with taking them to the groomer. Look, I've got 2 little Shih Tzus, Millie and Milo. They're absolutely adorable, and they need to be groomed, and they get stressed out going to the groomer. They shake, and they cry, and they whine, and they hate it, but they need to be groomed. So for years, I would take them in, leave them for hours on end, and a lot of the time, I know that they were in a cage, which sucked for them, and then I started seeing mobile detailing vans all over my neighborhood, right? And so I stopped at a couple of these, and I talked to a couple of them, and every single one had no availability, right? Completely booked out, not even taking names for a waiting list. Now, this is insane, right? People absolutely love this service. It's recurring, and with a mobile setup, you provide convenience that you just can't find anywhere else. It's stress-free grooming services for your little pets, and you go right to their door, right? And it's highly, highly profitable. These mobile pet groomers charge between $150 to $250 per session, which means the potential earnings are pretty damn big. With just 5 clients a day, which is relatively easy to do, you could earn between $500 to $1,000 per day. And you can do the math on it, but that means you could easily gross $20,000 a month or more. And as far as startup costs, you could start super, super basic with just your standard grooming tools, right? Some sort of watering system, and then of course, branding, marketing, advertising, right? So around $2K to get started. But in reality, you are gonna need more than that. A van, a trailer set up properly for this type of work. And these, they can get pretty expensive. But again, if you could gross $240,000 a year, investing in the proper equipment is a no-brainer. So we gotta remember that if we are going to start a business, we have to make an investment. There is inherent risk in everything that we're talking about. Number 4, snow removal, right? Not something I know a lot about. We have had snow twice in 8 years. You can see a little bit of it behind me right now. And while it's fun for a couple days, at least for us, my driveway is an icy mess, and I would gladly have paid somebody to come and clear it for me, but not a lot of people are offering that service down here in Savannah. But snowstorms elsewhere do create instant demand. And like me, most people would rather pay than deal with it themselves, which is why residential snow removal is a seasonal gold mine. And then you can also go out and start looking at commercial contracts, secure some of those, increase that average ticket price for more consistent income. And again, potential earnings, depending on where you live and what the climate is, you can charge between $50 to $150 per driveway, of course, depending on the size, the scope of the work, how much snow there is, and then $300 to $1,000 for commercial properties. You do 5 to 10 jobs like this a day, and you could bring in $15,000 per season or more. Startup costs can vary, but you're going to need a snowblower, you're going to need salt spreader, you're going to need some shovels, all of which you can get for anywhere between $1,000 and $3,000 for a beginner setup. Now, I'm keeping this one short because I don't have a lot of experience with this, but it is a great service to add on to an existing business when maybe that season slows down, like the next business that we're going to talk about, which I know quite a bit about, and that is pressure washing. And like I said, I know a lot about this business, and I know that it is seasonal in a lot of places, but during the peak season, you can absolutely crush if you know what you're doing and you don't undervalue yourself or your service. And that goes for everything that we're talking about. Cleaning driveways, sidewalks, home exteriors. It takes a little skill, but it does deliver huge results, right? The results are satisfying, and customers will pay to make their property look great again. Potential earnings here, you get $200 to $500 on average per job, and you do just 2 to 3 jobs a day, and you're easily hitting $10,000 to $15,000 a month, and that is with a one-man show. You start scaling, you start adding employees, and you can see where this goes. It is not easy, and it takes a lot of effort to build a strong client base, but if it's done right, it is recurring hiring business. So set yourself up for success with the right software to automate the email and the text follow-ups. And of course, I'm talking about QuoteIQ. And if you want to start your own pressure washing business, you should definitely check out How to Wash 2. It is the most in-depth training that you can possibly get for both commercial and residential pressure washing. We cover everything that you need to know, from property safety, the chemicals, how to mix them, specialty chemicals, upsells, you name it, it's covered. How to wash everything from the roof to the ground, every kind of property. Anyway, startup costs, again, you're gonna need a pressure washer. You're gonna need a surface cleaner. You're definitely gonna need marketing. So you're looking at between $1,000 to $2,000. And like any business, it can get a lot more expensive with bigger, better, more efficient equipment. So now let's talk about a business model where you don't need any equipment. You do not need any experience. You just need to know how to generate leads and negotiate and sell. And that is with a remote service business, okay? This is where you generate and you sell leads for a commission. But the type of model I'm talking about here is different than what most people think about, like the scammers over at Angie's who sell the same lead 10 times, or these guys that you get emails and texts and you see them pop up on your feed that claim to get you business for free, right? Well, I found a guy who developed an entire strategy to basically take over a niche in any market, build a lead generating machine, and then partner up with contractors in that niche and sell them high quality leads. He is actually putting the finishing touches on a training program to show you how he does it and how you can implement it in your own market or in any market. So there is a link to sign up for a notification that once this is all available for you to check it out. Anyway, this isn't an $8,000 bullshit training course. It's very reasonable. It's concise, consolidated, and it's easy to digest, but more importantly, implement. I put a link for that sign up down below if you want information on that. So tell me what you guys think. Which of these businesses would you start? Which has, in your opinion, has the most legs? And remember, I am giving away $500 to somebody who subscribes, likes, and comments on this video. So tell me what business that you would start or what business you have started. And here's the deal. If you're serious about starting a business, don't just watch these videos, right? You have to take action. You have to implement and stop making excuses. Stop being scared. You can do it. That's it. Have a great day.